Now let's listen to some of the protesters who are very upset with these raids. That's what's prompted all of this, these raids to pick up people who are in the U.S. illegally and deport them.
It is a beautiful day of resistance because Trump, the administration, the Border Patrol, ICE, they know that they cannot go anywhere in this country where our people are and try to kidnap our workers, our people, and they can't do that without an organized and fierce resistance.
They're human beings just like any of us. We're Hispanics. We help the community. We help by doing the labor that people don't want to do.
This is the only way that the government is going to hear us. Whether we get hurt, whether they gas us, whether they throw whatever they throw in at us, they're never going to stop us. All we have left is our voice.
Shalom. First of all, to go all glory and honor to Yahweh, Shema, Al Shai, by Shema Kakadash. Double honors to teachers that listen to us of great millstone, likewise, brothers putting on the truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep, and two brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson's titled, Suppress Your Own. That's in order. Yeah, these are the words that's coming from the Commander-in-Chief, okay, here in the United States of America, okay, which is Donald J. Trump, okay. As we know, he's already superseded the California governor in ordering the California Army National Guard to Title 10. Okay, they usually function on the Title 32, which is state-driven. Okay, and the Commander-in-Chief of the National Guard in each state would be the California governor, and they have an adjutant general. Okay, which is a 08. Okay, two-star general. That's usually the one that's a commander, but you hear the words coming from these jakes, in the opening clip there, and you can see that, everybody talks tough, when they're being paid or they're a paid actor, so to speak. But just in case jakes really believe that you have these brave souls that's going to stand up against this man, okay, you might want to consider this. Okay, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus 13, verse 6 reads, If you have a need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? Now, consider this. Okay, you have the branches of the military, and we're going to focus on the Army in particular, okay, and the Marines, which he have deployed out in California. And as we know, what they're talking about with that individual in the first part of the clip talked about is on June 14. It says, on June 14, we rise up. Okay, and this is a website called Kings, no Kings or something like that, .org, in which I guess you can go and you can register to partake in these events, and you can see here this is going to be a global event that's going to take place on the 14th. Now, what you need to understand about the makeup of the Army, which is divided into three components. You have active duty, or they call it Big Army. You have the reserve, okay, and then you have the National Guard. Okay, and you can take a look and you can see that you have 53.6% identify as so-called whites in the Army. Okay, and you have roughly around 20.3%, okay, representing so-called blacks and Asian, and then you have 17.6% representing the Hispanic or Latinos. Okay, now those soldiers that are deployed out there in LA and who's going to be deployed all across this country, you have a big makeup of them going to be, okay, Hispanic. Okay, now they're going to be when you look at the officer, okay, the officer representation of the military, okay, in general, 78% is so-called white, okay, white men, white women, okay, and you can see the breakdown here where the other percentages are 9.5 for the so-called blacks, and then you have everybody else. Okay, so who's going to be giving those command and those orders, or leading those platoons or those battalions or brigade that's going to be out there? It's going to be a doggone Edomite. Okay, and you have right here the majority of active duty personnel are so-called white. So you can see that the guns, the ammunition, the sword is really in the hands, okay, of these Edomites. Okay, in their military, they make up the majority of the people. So think about it, okay, when they're out there suppressing, okay, protesters and people that come up against the system, okay, the majority of the people behind the mask are going to be your Edomites. Now, Jake, you have to think about this, because you're being given an order to go suppress people that look like you. During BLM, you had the National Guard going out there, and you had, so-called Negro commanders that were out there, leading platoons that had to really scratch their head and think about what they was doing. And so you can have the exact same thing out here. And they're going to look at you and tell you, it is your job. A lot of the National Guard service members, since it's a part-time job, where you work part-time in the military, known as M-Day, a lot of them are unemployed. So they rushed, to get on orders, or Title 10 orders, where you get your BAH, your basic housing allowance, and, covered by insurance and a full paycheck to go do this, despite the fact that, a lot of these Hispanic service members and Latino service members looking and seeing that the people that they're being ordered to go and suppress look like them, look like them. Let's go into the book of Proverbs 29 and start verse 25 reads, the fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord Yahweh Shemashai should be saved. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment coming from the Lord Yahweh Shemashai. Now, we know that, in particular the Northern Kingdom tribe, they've always identified themselves as being so-called white. Like I've said it many times in my camp out here in El Paso, you have an 85% Hispanic and Latino population, and guess what? Roughly around 70% of them identify as so-called white. Now, when I look around this place, many of them have my complexion, which is a light brown. So I'm not understanding how they identify themselves as a so-called white. But hey, you wanted to be white, so hey, your white master doesn't seem to think so, because he's really diligently trying to get rid of you. He's diligently trying to get rid of you. When we go into the book of Ephesians 6 and 12, you need to understand that we're not dealing with Esau in a carnal way. So you have these Jakes, or these, siding, aligning themselves with these people that are trying to create, awareness on everybody, all these other tribes on this earth, and particularly here in Great Babylon, America, that these people are a problem. It reads, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. They're paying you, Jakes. This site that I just showed you, is where you go to and you can do RSVP, to get to these places. Then brothers are bringing out videos where these are paid agitators, paid actors, just like with the Black Lives Matter movement, we know that they were infiltrating, the so-called civil rights movement, as it turned out, when Martin Luther King came to his senses and realized that, what he had actually done. They put a bullet in his head. To why the Yahweh Shemashai for that, And so the rest of you Jakes, you out here, you're doing this for a paycheck, and some of you are going out there legitimately, you're probably against, what's actually taking place. But this is a judgment that's coming from the Lord Yahweh Shemashai. This is why we come out and bring it out scripturally and telling you ahead of time what is actually going to take place and what's actually going to happen. You go into Jeremiah 30 and starting with verse 4, because listen to this young lady here.
This is the only way that the government is going to hear us. Whether we get hurt, whether they gas us, whether they throw whatever they're throwing at us, they're never going to stop us. All we have left is our voice.
And you see how she boldly came out like, well, we're ready to die for this. Are you really? Well, let's see what the scriptures say about that. It says, and these are the words of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah, northern kingdom, southern kingdom. For thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. So these wicked in these secret places, and who's paying this money to get this show going this weekend. What it does, it really solidifies in the minds of people, to have that Negro and Hispanic and Latino fatigue. They're trying to get everybody to get their mind off. And that's why they're showing so much destruction and stuff. They have certain areas where in LA where they had them smash windows and making sure that people were there to film it, and we listen very closely. It's all a show. But what it's doing, it's basically, it's like reality TV, really. Okay, that's a silly this place to become. It's a reality TV. Okay, but what it does is it infuses in the mind of people that there's a certain kind of people, okay, because it deflects away from the wicked people who are the Edomites, of what the atrocities that they've done. And we have the pictures and the documentation to prove how they hung us from trees and how they beat us and raped the men, raped the women, the children, poured tar over our bodies, dismembered us. I mean, and it can go on and on and on and on. Tawadi Habashimashai for hiding a lot of the things that this wicked doggone man has done to us. Because we would go insane if we actually saw what he did to us in our previous life. We would go insane. But you best believe, okay, they're setting up the scenario in which they can come after the tribe of the tribes, okay, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. It says, actually now see whether a man doth travail of a child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail and on face of turning to paleness. So that dude that was talking in the beginning, like, oh, well, we're going to be in every cities and all that stuff like that. I don't know if he's a Jake or not, but, hey, talk is tough. That's all it is. Talk is just talk. And it says, alas, for that day is great, and so that none is like it, even in the time of Jacob's trouble, but he should be saved out of it. So a lot of the men that are not even participating in that, a lot of the people not even participating in that, they're going to get cut off guard, because it's going to be, if you're not covered by Yahweh Shema Shai, you're just going to be, okay, collateral damage. You might never have gone out there, especially a lot of you proud spicks out there, man. Okay, you might not go out there participating in this, but you look like a doggone spick. So guess what? You get some doggone ignorant Edomites out there sitting back and thinking you're all destroying their country. They see you out there driving around in your nice car, and they're looking at you, and you're a target, man. Okay, you're a target. And Lord willing, that does happen to certain individuals. Okay, anyways, let's go. This is the book of Isaiah 31:1. It reads, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither see the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. Why would you? When you go and you look at how, especially the Northern Kingdom tribe, like, look at them. See, big statue of white Jesus here on the mountain, and everybody go and make a pilgrimage to go check that out. Okay, you going to Egypt for help. You're asking this man to, like, stop deporting you. And yeah, I would consider the fact that him deporting you back to your country or whatever the case is like that might be a blessing in disguise. Okay, that may be the Lord saving you from being in the lake of fire here, because you're either here for salvation or judgment. But y'all out there crying because y'all getting your nigga wake up call right now to get treated fair. Well, you don't want to accept who you really are. Okay, this is why Hosea 5:15 says, I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense, your wickedness, worshiping idol, worshiping the so-called white man God, hating your dark-skinned brothers. Okay, you portray the same racism on your damn dark-skinned brothers as the so-called white man, even to a greater extent. Okay, and many brothers have testified in regards to being treated like that by the so-called Hispanic and Latinos. Okay, but at the end of the day, the Lord is telling you He's gonna wait until you go and realize who you are, which is part of the 12 tribe of Israel, and these curses are on you also. It says, and seek my face in their affliction, they will seek me early. So the same doggone brothers that you see out there on the highway and the byway, the same Negroes that you drive by every Sunday or Saturday or whatever day we out there on the highway and the byway, you screw up your window, turn your head the other way and think, okay, yeah, them niggas ain't got nothing to do, they broke and they just sad. Guess what? The Lord Yahweh Shema Shai said, his servants are going to eat. He's going to eat. You're not going to eat. Okay? You're not going to eat. When you're scrounging around right there, you're getting robbed for your damn groceries and shit, and these judgments come on your ass and shit. Okay? We're just going to be sitting down there looking and going, we told your ass so. Okay? We told your monkey ass so. Because why? When you go into Romans 12:19, it says, dearly beloved, revenge not yourself, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. The Mashiach wants to repay. This is his glory. When he returns, okay, and that's the greatest fear the so-called white man has, is that the sky is going to pop open, okay, and a so-called black man, the Messiah, our Savior, is going to come back with power so great it's beyond the best writer on this planet, science fiction writer on this planet's imagination. Technology beyond, it's like magic. It's so beyond, we can't even imagine this puny little brain. You will actually literally go crazy. You'll go crazy trying to imagine how powerful Yahweh Shai really is. Okay? And that's Yahweh Shai coming back. All right? Those so-called white men, these demons, they know that. Okay, he's coming back to take vengeance. And that's why we're sitting back and we're not worried about it. We're not concerned at all. Okay, Ezekiel 25 and 14. Let's close out here. It says, and this is here's what we're waiting for. Look, we're gonna get our day. We get 1,000 years to beat the living crap with these crackers, man. Why y'all want to go there wasting y'all time with this? See, if y'all don't go there and participate in this nonsense, then they can't really have a show. Because these doggone Edomites, they're passive aggressive. They're not going to do anything. They talk about, well, we got guns, we can do it. Really, prove it. But we have the scripture to prove that you're going to go and bring out your guns, but you're going to go after your government, who's going to riddle you down with bullets, and always y'all going to go and kill each other. Yes, y'all can get the 2/3. And this Jacob's trouble, as the apostle says, is going to be the 2/3 judgment. Okay? It's really for them to suffer. Right? It says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people, Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger, not my anger. We soft, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we're soft in comparison to what Yahushua is going to put that spirit in us to do to these doggone Edomites. And according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Lord. Power. That's what we're waiting on, man. All right? So, again, you know, this commander-in-chief is asking you to go out there and suppress your own. And that's an order. What are you going to do?